Today on TQA Weekly, I answer Kilodom97's questions on whether I prefer Intel versus AMD, Nvidia versus ATI, and whether I am a PC or Mac person. My name is Steve Smith, this is TQA Weekly, and if ever you have any questions, comments, suggestions, and or PC horror stories, you can always email me at ask@tqaweekly.com, go to my website, tqaweekly.com, and comments toward this episode, or use the contact form to email me directly. And of course, you can always post down below if you're watching on YouTube, Vimeo, Blip.tv, or anywhere else I post to every single week. And today's episode is going to be a little special since this is not a technical episode, it's a preference episode. So the YouTube user Kilodom97 actually decided that it was going to be a cool idea, which I agree, to ask me what my personal preferences are. If you like this format, go ahead, post down below, or email me at ask@tqaweekly.com your questions towards me about my specific preferences that have to do with technology. So his first question was Intel or AMD? So I'm going to be honest. I have AMD like I have Intel in my house. I will build on whatever is the best bang for power for my buck. So currently it's going to be based, my current build that I'm building, it's based on the 5th generation Intel i7 5770K or better, depends on how much money I can get for that. Of course, you can always help me out with that. But it's also going to be put on a Asus Z97 Sabertooth Mark I board. It is purely a gaming rig. And it's all I'm thinking about because it's all going to be over-the-top gaming rig because, quite frankly, this is a project that I'm doing with my niece, and it is something that is supposed to be really cool to actually admire when you open the box. The box is a half XP for that one. My current computer that I use to record the show is a half X. It is kind of like a joke box with an extremely powerful computer inside. So currently I prefer Intel. Why don't I use AMD when I normally build with AMD? Well, it's because the current processors use modular processing cores. They overdo it on the wattage, and I just don't trust them anymore. At least a lot of their stuff is not worth buying right now. Second question, do I prefer Nvidia versus ATI? Well, let's be frank. I don't like ATI. I have never bought ATI. Artifacting pisses me off, their temperatures piss me off, their lack of standards pisses me off, and their warranty periods on the R7 and R9 cards is shorter. You couldn't convince me to use an ATI card if you gave it to me for free, because I simply do not trust that card. So I am an Nvidia fanboy. Basically, it comes down to this. They have games made for them. I have never had issues with them. They don't pop up windows unless I ask for it. They give me the updates that I need. I have access to a bunch of stuff that I don't necessarily have access to in ATI, and they're a lot more stable and colder and have a longer warranty period. So I am an Nvidia fanboy. Deal with it. And the last question, do I prefer PC or Mac? Well, I have an iPhone, but I'm not a Mac person by definition. I don't like the fact that the RAM is inferiorly slow to my current builds, and even my slowest machines have better RAM than they do. I don't like the fact that they repurposed an operating system instead of building their own and end up having nobody allowed to have this operating system unless you absolutely buy their crummy hardware. I don't like the fact that they overcharge for a bunch of hardware that gamers have better than anyway, and Thunderbolt to me is a useless piece of technology that will never take off when you compare it to the USB 3 architecture that I actually use. Because Thunderbolt accessories are actually ridiculously expensive compared to USB 3 designs. So, do I prefer PC versus Mac? Well, as a special treat, I prefer Windows machines, PC basically, and if you're looking at this video, you'll currently see a computer built in a half X with 4 red cold cathodes, 2 monitors, yes, 2 monitors, with 2 green cold cathodes behind, and just barely visible underneath the counter is 2 ultraviolet cold cathodes, just barely lighting it up underneath. That's, I know, it doesn't have to be very bright for me, as long as I can see underneath when I need to see underneath. My peripherals that I use for gaming are all from Razer. Razer Naga Epic mouse on a Manicore mouse pad. I have a Blackwood Ultimate 2013 keyboard with Cherry MX Blue keys, which I like. I have a classic Nostromo N52TE from Razer with Belkin design stuff. That is the last time they actually built in memory. I can plug it into anything. My macros are still on board. I also use a Razer Kraken 7.1 headset that's USB, or a Razer Kraken Pro, which is 2.2, which can also connect into my cell phone. And when I need to be wireless, I also have a Razer Shimara headset, which is also wireless. And for those who are wondering, my game controller when I'm not using a keyboard is a Razer Sabertooth gamer keyboard. PC all the way. That's the way I like it. And that is basically the end of my show. If you wish to subscribe, just subscribe on the screen if you're on any website that you're listening to, like YouTube, Vimeo, Blip.tv. And of course, if you're anywhere else, go to tqaweekly.com/subscribe for many of the other options, including the SSL feeds, so that you can actually continue enjoying my show. If you have any other questions, comments, suggestions, and our PC horror stories, much like this episode, email me at ask@tqaweekly.com. Go to our website, tqaweekly.com, for more information on that. And of course, have a great day.